Live from WFSB, Connecticut's first choice for news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 5.
And we begin tonight with breaking news at 5. Route 2 westbound is closed in Marlboro.
This after a bad crash involving 3 cars and a tractor trailer. 1 person is dead. It happened at exit 15. Let's get right to Renee Falcone for the latest on the crash and ways to get around it. Renee?
Thanks, you guys. Listen, Route 2 westbound is closed by exit 15, and I just got off the phone with state police. This will remain shut through the afternoon commute, so it is going to be very messy getting home if you have to travel in that direction through Marlboro. The backups are starting from Colchester. If you can exit off exit 16, that's your best bet, but you are being diverted off exit 15 as well. You can take South Main Street, link up back to Route 2 by exit 13 to bypass this mess altogether, but it is a multi-car crash involving a couple of tractor trailers as well. Again, this will be shut for the remainder of the afternoon commute, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we get more information. Alan, Denise, back to you.
Thank you, Renee. More breaking news tonight at 5. A Connecticut jury decides this man deserves the death penalty for murdering 2 people, one of them an 8-year-old boy, the other his mother. A previous jury had deadlocked on whether Russell Peeler should get the death penalty, and this jury also had a tough time. It took 4 days to decide. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Leon Collins is live at the mobile newsroom. He's outside Bridgeport Superior Court. Leon?
Yeah, Al, late this afternoon up on the 5th floor of the Fairfield County Courthouse here in Bridgeport, a jury decided that Russell Peeler should be put to death for masterminding the murders of an 8-year-old boy and his mother back in 1999. Defense attorney Jeff Beck said it was an emotional decision for the jury.
After the verdict, one of the jurors actually broke down and appeared to be crying quite heavily, and I believe his terms were, may God help us.
However, Beck says the judge made sure the death penalty verdict was solid by individually polling the jurors who decided today that Russell A. Peeler should receive the death penalty for organizing the double murder of 8-year-old Leroy Brown Jr. and his mother, Karen Clark. A Waterbury jury acquitted Peeler's brother Adrian after authorities charged him with murder, believing he pulled the trigger inside the Earl Avenue home, brutally killing son and mother execution style. Following Adrian Peeler's conspiracy conviction and life sentence, state's attorney Jonathan Benedict took on the task of proving that Russell Peeler was ultimately responsible for it all and should pay the ultimate price. Did you feel any more pressure to get the death penalty in this particular courtroom scene?
No more than we did when we tried this case, the guilt phase of this case, the first time back in 2000. The challenge I had once the jury was allowed to know what the results in Adrian's case were, was to persuade the jury that that should not result in a decision, in a just decision, that would simply let Russell walk away from the death penalty just because his brother had a good day in court.
Coming up at 6, we'll have more on the next step, which is sentencing by the judge, and more on the possibility of appeals to the death penalty verdict here found appropriate by a jury in Bridgeport late this afternoon. Death penalty for Russell Peeler for the murder of Leroy Brown Jr. and Karen Clark. Reporting live with the mobile newsroom in Bridgeport, Leon Collins, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Leon, we're also following developing news out of New Haven, where police have just held a briefing on a weekend hit and run that left a Yale student in serious but stable condition. Today at noon, police seized a car that they say matches the description of the vehicle involved. The student, 18-year-old freshman Mahi Trevellis, was hit early Sunday morning while crossing at Elm and York Streets. She remains hospitalized tonight. The car that hit her was a large white sedan with a blue top, and witnesses said it was going fast and sped away. But again, police today did find a car matching the description at Edgewood and Hobart Streets, and they're now talking to the owner of that car. We'll have more from the police briefing coming up on Eyewitness News at 6.
Now, our other big story tonight at 5, a state senator in the hot seat. Today, Republican Lou DeLuca spoke for the first time since fellow senators started their investigation into criminal actions and his relationship with a man on the fringes of organized crime. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Susan Raff is live with the mobile newsroom in Hartford now with the story. Susan?
Denise, that's right. Senator Lou DeLuca agreed to testify today. He came here, but he did not do what he was expected to do. Lawmakers were saying that they hoped he would testify under oath, but that did not happen. And this has upset many lawmakers. In fact, one told me today this is a major issue. Senator Louis DeLuca came to the Capitol, where he has served as a senator for 17 years, agreeing to testify and answer questions from the committee now investigating him. But he would not agree to testify under oath, and that disturbed fellow senators.
In the pursuit of the truth, it's always helpful to have testimony that is given under oath. So I think that we're stymied in our efforts.
DeLuca's attorney said if the senator agreed to answer questions under oath, he could expose himself to perjury and face more litigation. DeLuca has already pleaded guilty to threatening. He was convicted of trying to find someone to scare off his granddaughter's husband. The man he sought help from was James Galante, a man with alleged mob ties. Many of today's questions focused on DeLuca's claim that he went to Waterbury Chief Neil O'Leary for help, but was turned away. O'Leary has said DeLuca never mentioned his granddaughter was being abused, and he says he was not asked to intervene. DeLuca was also asked about his relationship with James Galante, a Danbury trash hauler indicted by a federal grand jury.
As a result of my unsuccessful attempts to get Chief O'Leary to help, I made a bad decision to turn to Mr. Galante.
So the end result here today was that Senator DeLuca agreed to testify and answer some questions, but not under oath. He did, however, say that he would answer questions in written responses and submit those to the committee, and those would be sworn in. However, one committee member told me that she said that was almost the equivalent of a take-home test. So a lot of unhappy lawmakers here tonight. Coming up at 6, what's next? For now, we're live with the mobile newsroom in Hartford at the state capitol. Susan Raff, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
New details emerging tonight on 2 Bristol men now facing hundreds of weapons charges. Court files released today show how state troopers tracked down dozens of illegal gun sales. And as Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Eric Parker tells us, the suspects' record keeping is what apparently got them in hot water.
The State Police Weapons Unit says they were first tipped off to the Bristol Pawn Trading Post after an ATF agent stopped by for an inspection and noticed, quote, contraband firearms and the records indicating transactions of contraband firearms. Court records indicate that when state troopers went to the store, they found numerous illegal assault rifles, including a Tech-9, an AK-47, a MAC-10, and an Uzi. Store owner William Newell Jr. faces 206 felony charges in Bristol Superior Court. Employee Thomas Yetke faces 48 felonies.
And state troopers say once they came here to Bristol, many of the charges came by just going inside the pawn shop and reviewing their records.
The search warrant application shows a, quote, thorough line-by-line review of the dealer's logbooks revealed numerous violations. Those records led to nearly 200 of the charges against the 2 men for illegally transferring weapons without first getting state approval. The charges date back to 2002. The 2 suspects will be arraigned in Bristol on November 7th. In Bristol, Eric Parker, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And now the ongoing search for a killer, somebody who murdered the owner of a package store outside his business last Friday night in New London. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Hogan has the latest live with the mobile newsroom. Kev?
Well, Al, Jared's Packing is closed tonight, but as you'll see and hear in a moment from those who knew the victim and loved him, their hearts are open to comfort his family. When you look around 129 Ocean Avenue today, you can tell someone here was well loved. There are candles and flowers and notes inscribed on the storefront windows.
I just wrote, Jared, we love you. God bless you. You're home now. It's very upsetting. He was like a father to me. He was there for me and my kids whenever I needed him. He's just the nicest guy.
Jared Silva owned and ran the liquor store all by himself, and on Friday night at about 9:30, police received calls that shots were fired.
I heard a loud sound. What the heck was that? And went outside, looked around, didn't see anything, turned back around. The next thing you know, flashing lights, and came outside and saw him laying there on his back. That's a terrible thing.
Silva was pronounced dead at the scene. Police telling Eyewitness News today they've got many calls, but they're still looking for eyewitnesses.
I just can't believe it. Whoever the person is did it, they deserve whatever they get.
My wife and I were watching the news. We saw the report, and we said, we know him.
Now, neighbors and friends are planning a candlelight vigil at the store on Ocean Avenue tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. In the meantime, New London police are still looking for eyewitnesses to come forward. If you have any information, you're asked to call this number. It is New London Detectives. The phone number is 860-447-1481. Live at the Mobile Newsroom, Kevin Hogan, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
New tonight on Eyewitness News at 5, a police cruiser has left a mangled mess after a crash in Groton today. It happened on Route 1 near Flanders Road after noon today. Police are releasing few details. Somehow the cruiser and another car collided. The cruiser ended up in the westbound lane up against